Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I have learned as I have grown into the person that I am today. And I've actually taken a few days off and haven't filmed over here, so I've kind of missed it. How are you guys doing? Are you having a fantastic, amazing, wonderful weekend? I hope so. All right, so let's get into this. I have my sugar plum macchiato from Dunkin' Donuts right here. It's my new favorite holiday drink. And I have 3 of my new books that I purchased for 2021. So we're gonna go through here and read them. I think I read a meditation from Believing in Myself the other day. So I'm gonna pick a meditation from each of these books and read that for you today. And we'll see what they say. So from A Year of Positive Thinking, Daily Inspiration, Wisdom, and Courage. And I will actually add these to my Amazon store so you guys can go in there and you can see which books they are. If I can find, well, I bought them on Amazon, so they'll actually be on Amazon, I know that. Okay, let's go in here and see. December 19th. Oh, that's November 19th, but that would have been a good one. It was called You Become the Company You Keep. Should we read that one? Let's just read it anyway, right? Who cares? You become the company you keep. Surround yourself with people who uplift your spirit and set fire to your soul. They will inspire you to live boldly and thrive. Cultivate an inner circle that embodies whoever you hope to be in the world. They will prepare you to flourish. Walk alongside those who accept others and love wholeheartedly. They will teach you how to be loved unconditionally. To be courageous enough to surround yourself with genuinely kind people is to show that you're genuinely kind as well. And I so love this meditation. And you know, the reason why is this was kind of a concept that actually took me a long time to understand until later in life, you know, that you really truly are to some degree the company that you keep. And if you find yourself complaining a lot about your friends or the people around you and that, you know, oh, they're bitter or they're angry or they're negative and whatever, the reality is take a look at yourself because you probably have some of those similar traits. I don't have a lot of people in my life. Well, first of all, I don't have a lot of people in my life today, which I'm completely fine with. I used to equate that to loneliness, but I don't as much anymore because I feel like I have quality friends in my life today. But I don't have a lot of complainers in my life. I just really don't. And the really great thing about that, on the flip side to that, is that, like I've talked about in many of my meditations, is that, you know, in the past, I had a tendency to be a complainer. So when I complain today, the people that are in my life are quick to set me straight and be like, you need to find some gratitude and stop complaining, you know? Because they're just not big complainers. Like my best friend, Tanya, she doesn't really ever complain. I mean, we might drive around a little bit and, you know, moan a little bit about just the day-to-day things about our lives. But other than that, I mean, she's extremely grateful for her life. My husband is somebody that is extremely grateful for his life. You know, his family, my family. I think we're surrounded by people that are rather positive, you know, and I think it's also important to be around people that are, you know, if you have a lot of things you want to achieve in your life, be around people that are highly motivated, or, you know, if you're wanting to live a slower life, be around, you know, people that like to live a slow, simple life. You know what I mean? Like, I think to have people around you, we don't have to have people that are identical to us, but people that understand where we're coming from, you know, that can understand and see our point of view. I would say today, you know, I have probably, I don't know, a few close friends, and each of them are in my life, and it seems like they, for a different reason, or they serve a different purpose. But each person, I would say, is kind of like a gatekeeper to a certain area of my life that I'm, like, excited about, or, you know what I mean? Like, each person is kind of, like, very similar to me in one area of my life, so I can call that person up. You know, it's like my friend Mel with my book club, right? I can call her up and we can get so excited talking about books. I love talking about books with her, you know, and then we'll talk about family related to the books, and, you know, we get talking about all kinds of stuff with our lives, but we start, like, I think our common love is always about books, and it kind of goes from there and kind of spreads out, you know, and that's where our friendship started, and then we got to know each other through that. And so that's like an example, you know, like not, my friend Tanya reads, but she and I read completely different things. So I think it's important to have people that have common interests as you know, and common perspectives of the world and philosophies and things like that. And, you know, and if they don't, I think that the important thing about if they don't is to be able to at least have friendships that are open enough where you can have conversations and discussions with each other and say, well, I don't necessarily see it from the point of view that you're telling me, but this is how I see it. And then being able to have a conversation and saying, wow, like, I'd never seen it that way. And you kind of like opened my eyes to some new things, and to have friendships where we can, you know, learn and grow from one another, right? Like I think that's fantastic as well. So I do think it's important to realize that, you know, and I think also, like, if you find yourself being negative and, you know, negative Nancy, so to speak, all the time, or negative, you know, Nelson or whatever, all the time, you know, and just being down and complaining, maybe take a look at the people that are around you. And I don't believe it's their fault. I don't believe it's their fault at all. It's each of our responsibility to take accountability for that. But I do think that, you know, the people around us have an effect on that, you know. I dearly loved my mother, and you guys know that I talk a lot about my mother in here, but she was somebody that could be highly negative. She could be, you know, complain a lot and just, you know, very full of fear all the time. And, you know, when I would talk to her, it just, like, it kind of brought me down to that level. You know, if I was, like, at a 10, like, she could instantly bring me to, like, a 5. You know, honestly, I have to say, like, here's a good example of this. Y'all know I love social media. I mean, like, I have all my YouTube channels and whatever. I love social media, right? But I find myself, like, getting on Twitter, and if you follow my Twitter, you'll notice that even as, like, my other channel being a drama channel, I don't really much engage in the drama on Twitter, you know? And I'll put something out, like, I just posted a picture about my dog Tucker being really close to his dogs, or I'll say, how's everybody doing today? Hope everybody's having a great day, and whatever. I don't engage a lot in that, like, the drama of it, and I think sometimes probably to the detriment of my channel, because people probably want to see more of the up-to-minute drama, you know? But at the same time, the emotional roller coaster that goes along with all of that craziness on Twitter, I just don't enjoy that at all. And I find Twitter sometimes to be a very, very toxic place, you know? I find Facebook equally to be as toxic. When people want to share their opinions, and if you don't agree with their opinion, then defriend them, and all this just, this mentality that we have today that everybody's opinion is so entitled, you know? And it just kind of makes me very, very sad. I sit back and I look at all of that, and I'm like, please take me to Instagram and let me look at my beautiful destinations, you know what I mean? Because I follow this Instagram account called Beautiful Destinations, and over there, like, that makes me happy, you know? And seeing people with, like, I don't know, their Christmas sweaters on, or their dogs on the couch, like, I like looking at that stuff. I don't, you know, and seeing, like, I don't know, new fashions I might want to get or whatever. I don't necessarily enjoy, like, all of this, like, negative, crazy toxicity, you know, which I at times have been very much a part of. So, you know, like, I very limited amount of times do I get on that. And that was actually something that I learned, you know, from my counselor. Was back, we were talking back in the day, and he said, can you limit the amount of time that you get on social media? And he was somebody that, like, hardly ever got on social media. We started talking about it. He's like, I never get on that stuff. And he was like, but you know, I understand that you have to find out things you're talking about for your videos and whatever. He's like, you know, like, how many times a day do you think you have to get on Twitter? And I said, oh, I don't know, probably 2 to 3 times a day for a couple minutes. And he said, how many hours are you spending on Twitter or, you know, social media? And I was like, oh my God, like, probably an hour or 2 a day, you know? And he was like, what if we limit that? What if we say you're only going to get on it at certain times for, like, 5 minutes at a time? And I started doing that. And you know what? Like, I started, like, first of all, I wasn't as interested in it anymore over time. And second of all, it was like, I started finding this peace and serenity from distancing myself from social media. I just didn't enjoy it as much, you know? And I think that can be for all over the board. You know, Instagram I love. I think it's pretty non-toxic. But at the same time, I can go over there and I can see all these, you know, good-looking guys with great bodies, and I can think, well, that's not me. You know, and then it can bring me down, and or it can inspire me and motivate me. It depends on what I want to do with that, you know? It depends on what mood I'm in. You know, if I'm in a mood where it just brings me down and I think, God, I just want some mac and cheese and some cookies, you know, then maybe that's not the time to be looking at those pictures. But I think that, you know, it can also inspire me and motivate me. So I have to be very, very careful with, like, today, I think in 2020 going into 2021, social media exists as a friend for many of us, or the people that we meet on social media are friends for many of us, internet friends and things. And so I think that that also goes into the company that we keep. All right, let's read the next one, because that was from the 19th. Let's read from December 19th. What you see is what you reflect back. These are kind of the same, aren't they? You see in others what you put out into the world. When you are vulnerable enough to be your truest self, you find authenticity in others. When you are jaded and cynical, you see that in others too, and the world becomes a place filled with distrust. Each day you consciously choose who you want to be, and that choice is reflected back to you through the people you meet and how you spend your time. Will you meet love with love, or will you meet cynicism with cynicism? Who will you choose to be? You know, I made a very conscious decision a couple years ago, a year or two ago, that I just was going to disengage from a lot of just like, you know, tons and tons of negativity on YouTube and in my personal life. And I know it's not real exciting for people to watch when I talk about cozy mysteries and I talk about, you know, like, I don't know, getting red tartan plaid shams and a duvet cover, but that's the kind of stuff that makes me happy today, you know? And I don't think that it's any surprise that you know, to me at least, that I think this is, I don't know, I just feel like I have, you know, I've received back in return. Those are the kind of messages I get from people. You know, I get the messages from people where people are like, oh my God, like, I love your sheets. I want these sheets too. Or, hey, I read this cozy mystery. What kind of cozy mystery, you know, do you have and stuff? Or what kind of cozy mystery would you recommend to me? Those are the kind of messages that I get today. Those are the kind of tweets that I get from people, you know? And that makes me happy. And like I said, no, it's not super exciting, but I think that we truly do what we put out there is what we get in return, you know. And I believe that other people are mirrors for us. So things that we see in other people that we don't like are typically things about ourselves that we used to be like, or that we are now, and that we've changed or we want to change, right? You know, I see other people and I'm like, oh, you know, like, did I used to act that way, or do I act that way? And I want to be a different person than that. I don't want to be that, you know? And so people are definitely mirrors for us, and we're mirrors for other people as well. And I think sometimes those, you know, things that we see in other people that we like or don't like, you know, are either things that we aspire to be or things that we aspire not to be, you know? And I think that other people around us can be like learning experiences for us when we see that, you know, and not necessarily judging somebody and shutting them down, but saying, you know, but for the grace of God, I'm not that, or, you know, like, or I was and I'm not today. I see that a lot with people, like, where I see like this negative kind of like talk, right? Especially, I have to say, like, one of the things that really, to me, is like a huge turnoff and I don't like is self-deprecating talk. And that is something that I used to do a lot of. You know, and I'm not saying that I don't at all, because I still do at times, but nothing like what I used to. I mean, I've probably cut out 80% of it. But when I see a lot of people that are constantly putting themselves down and talking themselves down, you know, I'm like, listen, you got to be your own cheerleader. If nobody else is going to talk you up, I mean, you got to talk yourself up if you want anybody else to, you know what I mean? And I don't know, like, I think a lot of people do it because they're kind of baiting for compliments, which is not a way to get a compliment from me. I just, you know, if somebody says that to me, I'll say, don't talk about it. If like, I'm just driving around in a car with somebody and somebody says something self-deprecating to me, I'm just like, don't talk about yourself that way. You know, you gotta, like, you know, we can have an honest conversation about something like, wow, like, you know, like, I'll say, like, I'm not happy with my weight and I know the things I need to do and I stand in the way of that. But I don't anymore. I really try not to use the negative self-talk with anything in my life, you know, with all the issues in my life. I just don't think it does us any good, you know. And I think the other thing is that when we do that, we're teaching other people that it's okay for them to talk to us that way too, right? So when we talk that way about ourselves, we're teaching people that it's okay to talk about us as well that way. And I don't want to give that message to people that it's okay to do that. You know, that goes into the whole self-esteem and self-concept thing, right? And so I really am, like, pleasantly surprised when, and there's, like I say, you know, like, there's a fine line between cockiness and confidence, right? But I love when I'm pleasantly surprised when I talk to somebody and they'll, like, say something really positive about themselves. I'm like, oh, I like that, you know, like, that's impressive. So yeah, so, you know, other people are mirrors for us. We learn from other people. We see, you know, in other people what we like or just don't like about ourselves sometimes. And I think that we can learn a lot from other people in our lives. You know, when we see those things and they're like, ding, 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 they're like, you know, red flags, you know, like, okay, well, I need to maybe take a look at that about myself. You know, is that something I need to work on? Or, you know, wow, I used to be that way and I see that I'm not today. and I'm happy that I've grown and I'm not that person, but what do I need to work on? What tools do I need to have in my toolbox so that I don't go back to being what I was before, you know, that negative, complaining, whatever. Like, that's a real quick way to get out of my life today. And it's so funny that I used to be that, you know, I used to be this really, and like I said, I can be this. I can fall into it very quickly. But I try to get out of it. I try to like talk to my sponsor and people in my life about it, you know, because I don't want to be this person that's just constantly complaining. And I think, like, especially on the heels of doing this month of gratitude, like, that really, really helped me realize, like, how truly, truly grateful, you know, I am for just my health. And I mean, like, that's such a huge thing, right? Like, our health, that every day that we wake up, that we're alive today, and we have another day to live and another day to conquer and another day to live the best life that we possibly can. So I think it's for me, starts in gratitude, a lot of that. Anyway, okay, I will finally get to, these are going to be good books for next year, I think. So in my next video tomorrow, I will, if I make a video and I don't take another break, I will get to the Daily Stoic, and we will start with this book. So anyway, I love you guys, and I hope you're having a fantastic, amazing, beautiful weekend, and I love you, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.